Alright guys, I am back with my review of this week's TNA Impact Wrestling for December 19th, 2013. And this was the final resolution show. And this one starts off with Magnus coming out. He says it's not about the money for him, it's about the honor, the respect. But he's not sure about his opponent tonight, Jeff Hardy. So, Jeff Hardy comes out and Magnus asks him about meeting with Dixie Carter and is this going to be another 10-10-10 my friend situation. And Hardy tells him to worry about himself, stop worrying about his life and worry about his own life. And I actually liked this. I thought it was pretty good. And backstage, Jeremy Borash is talking to Zema Ion and Chavo Guerrero about the Feast or Fired briefcase reveal later on. And one of the best parts about this show is it's been on for almost 20 minutes and I haven't heard Taz once. Definitely a pleasant surprise. But then we get Bobby Roode versus Kurt Angle in the 2 out of 3 falls match. And it was a decent match. Roode gets the first fall by low-blowing Angle and hitting this AA neckbreaker move. And Angle gets the second fall with the Angle Slam. And I love how in 2 out of 3 falls matches, guys are beat with moves that would never beat them in a one-on-one match. But the last fall goes to Roode. He rolls Angle up and uses the ropes for the win. But it was a decent match. And then backstage, Jeremy Borash is talking to James Storm and Gunner screwed James Storm out of the briefcase last week, so Storm is still pissed off about this. Kurt Angle cuts a promo about his loss to Bobby Roode, and he's all depressed about it. It was pretty good. Then Jeremy Borash is talking to EC3 about the briefcase reveal. And his phone goes off, and his ringtone is his theme song, and it's Dixie Carter. And he says, if I get the pink slip, I'm going to be okay, right? And she says, no, there's absolutely nothing I can do if you get the pink slip. But it was funny because he goes off to answer the phone and we hear the entire conversation. So Eric Young is in the ring and they replay the whole Joseph Park is Abyss thing. And Joseph Park comes out and they're talking about how he's really Abyss and Joseph Park denies this. And Eric Young says, well, next week I put you in a match against Bad Influence. And it's going to be a Monsters Ball match. And Joseph Park says, I'm not doing that. Why would you do that to me? So Eric Young gives him all these presents. A steel chair, thumbtacks, barbed wire. I guess it's supposed to trigger Abyss. Crowd really didn't react to the weapons though, which kind of sucked. And this still doesn't have an effect. So he says, well, there's one more weapon under the ring. Joseph Park goes and he looks under the ring, and it's Janice. The return of Janice. The big board with the nails sticking out of it. And Joseph Park picks this up and he looks at it and he says, okay, I'll do the match. And then he walks off. But, I mean, yeah, it's incredibly silly, but it was cool to see Janice again. Samoa Joe is questioning Jeff Hardy about possibly taking a shortcut with Dixie Carter. And Jeff Hardy denies this. Then we get the Feast or Fired reveal. This was like a bad horror movie or something here, the way they did the camera work and the dramatic music. But Zema Ion opens his briefcase. It's the X Division title shot. So I saw that one coming. But Austin Aries just became the X Division champion, but I could still see Zema Ion winning the X Division title since the Bromans are a group now and they're the tag team champions. But the second briefcase is Gunner. And it's a world title shot. And he's all excited about this. And he just stares at James Storm. And they just give each other the evil eye and walk off. But Gunner's not going to win the world title. Then it's down to EC3 and Chavo. Sting comes in. And he's talking about how EC3 makes him sick. He actually goes, bleh, which was really silly. But he says that Chavo doesn't deserve to be fired. EC3 deserves to be fired. So he'll take what's in EC3's briefcase if he will at least agree to fight him one time. And EC3 says no, he'll take the briefcase, which was awesome. And they open the briefcases, and EC3 gets the tag team title shot. Chavo's fired. And Sting says that the Carters make him sick and he walks off. And EC3 is happy about this, and he tells Dixie, let's go tell Uncle Serge. So yeah, I thought it was kind of funny they mentioned Serge again, but I'm assuming EC3 will have to pick either Norv Furnham or Dewey Barnes as his tag team partner. I just see something like that happening, something silly like that. But the segment was very silly. But if Sting is telling her that she's going down and she sucks and he hates the Carters, why does she keep Sting around? It's Gail Kim and Lady Tapa versus Madison Rayne and ODB. I thought this was pretty boring. Madison Rayne gets a roll-up on Gail Kim for the win. Backstage, Jeff Hardy gets a pep talk from Sting. And then we see Dixie Carter talking to Rockstar Spud about the world title. How tall is Rockstar Spud? Because even if Dixie wasn't wearing heels here, which I assume she was, she would still be taller than him. So Jeff Hardy comes out for the main event. And I have to fast forward through Jeff Hardy's entrance now because that music is terrible. But he comes out and he says that he's not going to repeat his mistakes. He told Dixie Carter to take her offer and stick it. So Dixie comes out and she says Jeff Hardy better do what's best for her. He's going to be fired like AJ Styles. Then we get the Dixieland match, Magnus versus Jeff Hardy for the world title. And you have to climb out of the cage or escape the cage. Jeff Hardy tried to go out through the camera hole at one point. And then you got to walk up the ramp, climb the ladder, grab the belt. And the match was okay, had some cool spots. Jeff Hardy hit a Whisper in the Wind off the top, and both guys escape the cage, and then EC3 attacks Magnus. And Jeff Hardy helps Magnus fight him off. And Jeff Hardy hits the Twist of Fate on Magnus on the ramp, and then he walks up to climb the ladder. And Dixie Carter stands in his way. So I guess because he refused the help of EC3, Dixie Carter doesn't want him to win now. But he climbs up the ladder, Rockstar Spud runs out and pushes the ladder over. Hardy takes a bump on the ramp, which was crazy dangerous. And Magnus looks up, and now Dixie Carter and Rockstar Spud want Magnus to become the champion. So Magnus walks up the ramp, and then when he gets to the ladder, he's all slow climbing up it. Like, he was fine walking, but once he has to climb a ladder, he's out. But he grabs the belt, so Magnus is the new champion, and then EC3 is clapping for Magnus. What the hell is going on here? So that was the end of the show. And I know I've said this a ton of times, that these aren't really pay-per-views, they just hype them up like they are. But this one was even worse, because there were only like 3 matches. None of them were really that good. The Knockouts match was boring as hell. So I really didn't care much for this one. I mean, it was average, but nothing really special about this show, in my opinion. Magnus, I think a lot of people have already read the spoilers, so we knew he was going to become the champion like weeks ago. And finally, he becomes the champion. So I guess they're going to have him feud with Hardy because he didn't help him get up. Instead, he went straight for the belt. But I mean, what was he supposed to do? Call an ambulance for Jeff Hardy? What the fuck's he supposed to do in that situation? He's got to climb the ladder. I mean, what? What do you want from the guy? So none of it really makes any sense. But yeah, this was really just an average show. So that's my review. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on the show in the comments, and thanks for watching.